And now, the main news on Radio Singapore, brought to you by Musmili.
Radio Changelo, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon with the main news. My name is Sarah Tamina. Remember, you can watch us live on our Radio Changelo Facebook page and also listen to us on Radio Garden. The headlines. Radio remains an essential tool for development. Conduct a land audit. PF Copperbelt Mobilization Committee refute defections. And now the news in detail. As Zambia joins other countries in commemorating World Radio Day, the Catholic Media Services, CMS, says radio remains an essential tool for democratization and development of any society in spite of the advent of other media. CMS Executive Director Father Winfield Kunda has saluted the role journalists play for using radio as an agent of information dissemination. Father Kunda said as the country goes to the polls this year, radio should be used to create critical content that will inform the public on how elections are to be conducted and that it will offer itself a platform for electoral education and debate. He was also hopeful that radio would be used as a non-discriminatory platform that will allow all would-be candidates to engage the public. This is according to a media statement issued by Catholic Media Services.
Mind of how important this year, as the country goes to the polls to elect its leaders to govern the affairs of our government, is. We hope that radio will be used to create critical content that will inform the public on how elections are to be conducted, and that it will offer itself as a platform for electoral education and debate. We also hope that radio will be used as a non-discriminatory platform that will allow all would-be candidates to engage the public. And we continue to urge journalists to maintain a high level of professionalism, accuracy, and impartiality in their coverage as they host those who have indicated to take part in elections. This should be done by adherence to the tenets that guide the broadcasting industry.
And Panos Institute Southern Africa, PSAF, has called on various stakeholders to support radio stations, especially rural-based ones, to evolve, innovate, to effectively foster accountability for public resources. World Radio Day is commemorated every year on 13th February across the globe to celebrate radio as a medium of communication and how it shapes people's lives. According to Panos, radio does not only inform, educate, and entertain, but it also transforms and unites people. This year, World Radio Day is being commemorated under the theme New World, New Radio, which is being addressed in three sub-themes, namely Evolve, Innovate, and Connect. And Panos says it is concerned with the various challenges that radio stations grapple with every day, which makes it extremely difficult for them to effectively evolve, innovate, and connect and effectively foster accountability for public resources. The organization has observed that in most cases, community radio stations struggle to meet key operational costs, resulting in some of their staff members going unpaid for lengthy periods. This is according to a media statement issued by Panos Institute Southern Africa, PSAF Executive Director Vuzumuzi Sipile. Quito District Land Alliance Coordinator Felix Chipoya has reiterated the call for land audit to ascertain the availability of land so that people can have access to it. And Mr. Chipoya wants a land policy to be implemented. Speaking on Face-to-Face with the Community program this morning, Mr. Chipoya said lack of effective engagement on land issues between the Ministry of Land, Council and other relevant officers has contributed to the challenges being faced when acquiring land.
For so many years of the saying, can we know the amount of land? So land, if you want land, you can buy that one. But when I think touching one, I'm not for them. I think for them. Masa ni pale ko, let's talk about that. Masa ni pale ko, na wale kama kuna kuna. So the plan for Japan, land audit, that one is very possible, so that we can know how much we have. There is something which this country has developed. The land policy. The government promised us, the government promised us last year, before the end of the year, that land policy is going to work. But then, up to now, we can't say. So, how do we test the land policy when we are not in that?
And speaking on the same program, Quito Mayor Christopher Kangumbe said there was no land in Quito available. He also spoke on the need to open up land from forests and allocate them to the people. Mr. Kangumbe said he still supports his proposal he submitted to the Ministry of Lands to have part of the Mwekera land allocated to the people.
For certain other activities, they have to put that to land it, but that is possible, Kangwa, it's possible. And that is the proposal I made to the Ministry of Lands, that can we be allowed to remove Mwekera forest, 5,000 or 2,000 hectares, to put down a proposal in our pay, because that will deal with more land being available for the people, and it will also remove those procedures, because
the PF Copperbelt Mobilization Committee says all structures are intact and no member has defected to the opposition UPND. It was reported that a member of the PF Copperbelt Mobilization Committee, John Kangwa, and other members had ditched the ruling party to join the opposition UPND. Speaking when he defected to the opposition UPND with other members, Mr. Kangwa charged that the ruling party has lost direction, as evidenced by the economic challenges, unemployment, and the lack of respect for the rule of law. But PF Copperbelt Director of Operations under Mobilization, Kelvin Sinyangwe, said the defections were fake, as those that defected were merely masquerading to be PF members. Mr. Sinyangwe spoke to Radio Chengelo News.
I haven't seen anyone defecting, because all the structures that we have are intact and representing the entire province. I want to dispute that. If he has got evidence to say he was at the provincial, then let him show us the proof. As far as we are concerned, the province is growing bigger and bigger. I just want to warn maybe his sponsors that the PF of 2016 and the PF of 2021 is totally different, because we have grown in numbers. As mobilization committee, we have established all the 10 districts.
The lack of inadequate water supply in some parts of Mufulira district has caught the attention of UPND Mufulira Central aspiring candidate Geoffrey Luchele. Mr. Luchele says he was concerned that some markets in the district have no running water. He told Radio Chengelo News that water is a basic right which should be accessed by all.
Specifically, we are saying it's just too much. Even in areas like Kandanshi and also Kankolo, it's just too much. We have the issue of COVID. And we are told that we are supposed to sanitize. We are told that we are supposed to be washing. How are we going to be doing that without water? Especially in marketplaces. Why should we be lacking water in the marketplace? We need more water. People should not be paying for something.
This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chingelo with compliments of Moise Milling and GoTV Broadcasting Zambia Limited. And now, international news as monitored from the BBC, as the BBC reports.
The vaccines will not end the pandemic unless all countries receive doses in a fast and fair manner. Writing in The Lancet, they say jabs need to be priced affordably, and developing nations need access to technology to be able to produce doses domestically. Prolonging the pandemic would allow more mutations to emerge. Richard Horton is the journal's editor-in-chief.
It's in our interest to make sure that vaccines are made available to other countries around the world. And we're a long, long, long way from that at the moment. It's an illusion to think that our success is going to be sufficient to protect us, because even if we do have high population immunity, our borders will not be secure. And we can't keep locking people up in hotels the next 5 years.
US senators are due to vote later today on whether to convict President Trump of inciting insurrection. Both sides will first make their closing arguments, but the Democrats have an insurmountable task in convincing the necessary 17 Republicans to vote with them. On Friday, defense lawyers accused the Democrats of wanting to take revenge on the ex-president. Lebu Desenko reports from Washington.
Donald Trump's lawyers took roughly 3 hours to make their case that the impeachment proceedings were unconstitutional. They argued that the case against the former president was a politically motivated act of vengeance. Mr. Trump's comment that his supporters should fight like hell was ordinary political rhetoric, they said. On the issue of whether to convict the former president, senators are split on party lines. Only a handful of Republicans had indicated before the trial that their minds were not yet made up. Last night, one of them was seen with a note written before the end of proceedings, saying that Democrats had not reached their case.
Lines again. Radio remains an initiative for development, conduct land audit. PF Copperbelt Mobilization Committee refute defections. All friends, remember to play your role in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic by adhering to safety guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization. Wear a mask when in public, avoid large groups and maintain social distance, avoid unnecessary movements, wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds. On behalf of the entire news crew, this has been Sarah Tamina. Have a wonderful weekend.
The main news